Hello students, in this session of chapter number 9, that is morphology of flowering plants, we are going to learn regarding the insertion of floral whorl and the structure of flower. Now in our previous session, we have learned regarding the types of inflorescence. Then we have seen the different terms related to flower. Now, insertion of floral whorls means it is the arrangement of androecium, then corolla and calyx with respect to gynoecium on the thalamus. Now, you know that thalamus is the enlarged tip of the pedicel and it consists of 4 compactly arranged nodes and 3 internodes. So, on these nodes, the floral whorls are arranged. Now, floral whorl means it is a group of similar parts of the flower. Now, depending upon the position of gynoecium on the thalamus, there are different conditions found in the flower. Now, the first one is called as hypogyny. Now, in this diagram we can see hypogyny. Now, in hypogyny, the flower is called as hypogynous flower. So, hypogynous flower shows convex or conical thalamus and ovary is at the top position or it is at the higher position, and from the lower side of the ovary of the gynoecium, different floral whorls are developed. So, here we can see that the ovary of the gynoecium is at the highest position and such ovary is called as superior ovary, and from the lower side of the ovary on the thalamus, the stamens or androecium, then petals and sepals are developed. So, such flower where ovary is at the highest position or ovary is superior, the flower is called as hypogynous flower. An example of it is brinjal, then it is found in mustard as well as it is found in China rose. Then the second type is perigyny. Now, in perigyny, the thalamus is, here we can see in this diagram, the thalamus is cup shaped or it is saucer shaped, while the floral parts, that is androecium as well as petals and sepals, almost occupy the same position to that of the ovary. So, such ovary is semi-inferior or semi-superior and the condition of the flower is called as perigynous condition. Now, the floral parts are present. Here we can see this is a cup shaped thalamus and these floral parts are arranged on the rim of the thalamus and these are about the same position to that of the ovary of gynoecium. Hence, such flowers are called as perigynous flowers. An example of it is rose pea. Then the next type of insertion of floral whorls is epigyny, and the flower which show epigyny are called as epigynous flower. Here in this diagram we can see the epigynous flower. Now, in epigynous flower, here we can see the ovary, and this ovary is completely enclosed by the thalamus and the floral parts like androecium or stamens, then petals, sepals are developed from the top of the ovary or they are at the higher position than the ovary. So, such ovary which is placed below the floral parts is called as inferior ovary and the floral parts are superior or they are at the top. So, such flower is called as epigynous flower and the condition is called as epigyny. Similarly, the ovary is enclosed by the thalamus completely and it is inferior to the floral parts. Similarly, the thalamus may be fused to the wall of ovary. So, ovary is inferior and such flower is called as epigynous. An example of it is sunflower and guava. So, here we have seen three types of insertion of floral whorls. The first one was hypogynous flower or hypogyny. The second one was perigyny and the third is epigyny. Now we will see the structure of a typical flower. Now you know that flower is the highly modified and condensed reproductive shoot of the plant and is responsible for the process of sexual reproduction. Now flowers are of different varieties, then they are of different colors, size, shapes. So here we are going to see the structure or the parts of typical flower. Now the stalk of the flower is called as pedicel. Then comes the thalamus. Now thalamus is the enlarged tip of the pedicel and it consists of total 4 nodes and 3 internodes, and on these nodes the floral parts are developed in a proper manner. Now the outermost whorl of the flower or the first whorl of the flower is called as calyx. Here in this diagram we can see calyx. Now the individual members of calyx are called as sepals. Here we can see the green sepals. So as it is green in color, it carries the process of photosynthesis. Similarly, calyx protects the inner part of the flower when the flower is in bud condition. Now in some plants, the sepals may be united. So when sepals are united, the calyx is called as gamosepalous calyx. An example of it is China rose or hibiscus. Similarly, when the sepals are free, such calyx is called as polysepalous calyx. So some flowers may show presence of gamosepalous calyx or some may show presence of polysepalous calyx. So the function of calyx is protection as well as it contains chlorophyll, it carries the process of photosynthesis. Similarly, in some plants, the calyx may be petal-like. Petal-like means it is bright and attractive in color and it will carry the function of attraction of insects for the process of pollination. So such colored calyx or sepals is called as petaloid calyx. An example of it is canna. Similarly, in some plants, the flower may show presence of calyx which contains hairy structure, and such hairy calyx is called as pappus calyx and it is found in plants like Sonchus. Now this pappus calyx or hairy calyx helps in the dispersal of seed. Now dispersal of seed means the seeds are transferred from one place to different places for propagation or development. So pappus or hairy calyx helps in the process of dispersal of seeds. Then the second whorl of the flower is called as corolla. Now corolla consists of individual members called as petals. Here we can see petals. Now in some flowers, the petals are united or fused. So such corolla is called as gamopetalous corolla. Gamopetalous corolla is found in the flower of datura. While when the petals are free, it is called as polypetalous corolla, and such corolla is found in hibiscus or China rose. Corolla may show presence of fragrance as well as it may be brightly colored. So you know that there are different colored flowers. Some are red, some are pink, some are yellow. So the main function of the corolla is to attract the insects for the process of pollination, as well as it protects the inner parts of the flower when the flower is in bud condition. So the second whorl of the flower is called as corolla. Then in some flowers, when calyx and corolla cannot be differentiated from one another, then such structures are called as perianth. The members of perianth are called as tepals. Similarly, in some flowers, the members of perianth, that is tepals, are united, and such perianth is called as gamophilous. While some flowers show free tepals, or they are not fused with each other, they are free from each other. So such perianth is called as polyphilous perianth. Now when tepals are colored, they are called as petaloid, or the perianth is called as petaloid, and it is found in the plants like lily. Now you know that lilies are of different colors. So these lilies show petaloid perianth, and the main function, that is attraction of insects for pollination, is carried by colored or petaloid perianth. Then in some plants, the perianth is green in color, and such perianth is called as cephaloid, and it carries the process of photosynthesis as it contains chlorophyll. Then the next whorl of the flower is called as androecium. Now androecium is the male reproductive whorl of the flower. Here the members of androecium are called as stamens. Here we can see entire stamen. Now stamen is differentiated into three parts. These are anther, connective and filament. So here at this point we can see connective, and this part is called as filament. So androecium is the male reproductive part or whorl of the flower and consists of individual members called as stamen. Each stamen is differentiated into anther, connective and filament. Then the function, it acts as the male reproductive part of the flower, and androecium produces pollen grains. Then the innermost whorl of the flower is called as gynoecium, or it is also called as pistil. The individual members of gynoecium are called as carpels. So here we can see the carpel or gynoecium, and each carpel is differentiated into three parts. The upper part is called as stigma, then style is long, and at the base ovary is present. Similarly, inside the ovary, one to many ovules are present. It depends upon the type of the plant, that the number of ovules. So here inside the ovary, ovule is present. Now after fertilization, this ovary develops into fruit, while ovule develops into seed. Then in some flowers, apart from the calyx, additional green leaf-like structures called as bracteoles are present, and these bracteoles togetherly come under the term that is apicalyx. So apicalyx is found in the flowers like hibiscus or China rose. At the base of the calyx, these bracteoles are present. They are 5 to 8 in numbers, and these bracteoles togetherly are called as apicalyx. So a typical flower shows 4 whorls, that is calyx. Then calyx is denoted by K. Then corolla is denoted by C. Then perianth is denoted by P. Then androecium is denoted by A. Gynoecium is denoted by G in the floral formula. Now floral formula is used to describe the structure of flower in short. So here we have seen the structure of typical flower. A typical flower shows presence of calyx, then corolla, male reproductive part that is androecium, and female reproductive part that is gynoecium.